Now then, everybody, thank you again for joining the channel on the journey, as I keep saying. First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody so far that's subscribed. I think we're up to about 50 now. Doesn't seem like much, but it's gradually getting bigger and stronger. And hopefully you keep joining us and liking the videos that I can produce for you. Like I said before, any comments that do get put on there, I will get back to you all. That's a promise. I really appreciate it. I know a lot of other sports come from footbin so far. A few tips and hints and stuff about what could be done from the comments, which again is massively important. And somebody in the comments did actually say that they wanted to know a bit more about the formation of the 5-2-1-2, and it just so happens that that is something that I do actually play with in my formations, and I think it's massively important that you get that right, because there's an easy way that you can have 5 in the defence, but you don't get forward, you don't have that attacking threat. And the only way you're going to win games is by getting them players into space and opening up and creating from there. So just wanted to give you a bit of an idea as to what my tactics are. And if you've watched any of the previous videos, you know I'm massive on co-op Fifa as well. And YouTube is something where I will hopefully try and get a few of those videos on there of the co-op action of what's getting done and what's getting kind of like how we perform in game. It's just something that when for me personally, the 5-2-1-2 is absolutely quality for co-ops. Sometimes I find that me and the guy that I play with were very attack-minded players, and when we were playing a 4-2-3-1, we were just getting split open really easy. And to be honest, it just weren't no good. It was no fun. You know, we're good FIFA players, but it came to a point where we were just kind of conceding, bang, long ball at the top, conceding straight away, so it was doing our heading really. So just to give you a bit of an idea, tactic-wise again, where I am, so you'll get to see here exactly what I'm doing in game as well. So I've mentioned before that the formation that you just seen there was actually just to get the chemistry to where it needed to be. This is kind of where I go in terms of natural play. I go for the 4-2-3-1. I mentioned it yesterday's video. Obviously, they're not the players that will be in that team. But today's, I just wanted to go into a little bit about the 5-2-1-2. Tactic-wise, I mentioned again, yesterday, balance is an approach that we go for in this one, not the press after possession loss, just because again on the co-op version, I find that it's something that's really kind of crucial that you're not getting players lunging in, especially on co-op, because you just want to shout at the next person that you're playing with, blaming them, he'll blame me. In an actual fact, sometimes it's just the AI of the player just getting into the wrong place. So on this one, I go for depth quite high up and width pretty much balanced, just because again, once you've got that two additional defend, like you've got that additional defender in the centre, that if you've got somebody like what I do with Virgil van Dijk, he can ping the ball here, there and everywhere. I've got a different setup to how I actually use my wingers like on this formation. Basically going into the offensive side of it, I do long ball simply because I've got my fullback of either, I usually use like Kleiber and Tierney down my wings, and they seem to open a lot of space up for my central players that you can actually score me the goals and create everything. So offensive style, I go long ball. Width, you can see balance again there, because I've already got the width out wide from my 5 defenders. Players in the box is where it's a little bit more kind of advanced. You want to push people forward. And just again, after yesterday's video, you'll hopefully see corners score so many goals from corners, or not directly from corners, but a result of a corner. So I always leave that at 2 and 2 for free kicks as well. Formation wise, so again, just kind of ignore the actual players that you can see here exactly, because what I do in game, I'll take Gundogan out, I'll put Neymar in that position. I do not have Shevchenko as my left wing back. I'll change that and I'll usually put Kleiber in there. And what I have been doing, I've been taking Essien out of centre midfield and swapping with Trent Alexander-Arnold, simply because of that passing situation. It drives me nuts. I think he's an absolutely class player, is Essien, for the defensive side of it, but again, that passing really does my head in. So the idea really is make sure that I've got that compact midfield with strong players in there, fast players, and agility wise he's good with Alexander-Arnold and Rooney. So that's kind of like the setup that I go for, and it seems to be something where if I'm in game and I've got to a stage where I'm either holding on to a win or I'm playing against a strong team that seems to be dominating possession, I will revert to this formation. So that's kind of where that setup is. In terms of instructions, this is again, it's important that you get this right, and I'd say more so for your defenders. So on here, I've got it. So attacking runs, balanced, inception. I've gone for just normal, because again, I've got that coverage a little bit on this one. On the previous video with a 4-2-3-1, I don't want to have a player lunging in and there's no support. Whereas I feel in this formation, you've got a bit more of that support with your defensive midfielders and your free centre backs. So on this one, and pretty much always for any formation that I do, I'll have my run type as overlapping for my defenders, like wing backs. So that's for Tavernier. Gomez, again, I've just gone for stay back while attacking, normal. This Zanetti, it's usually Van Dijk, but the guy that I played on co-ops decided that he wanted to get Van Dijk sent off in the last game, so I had to put Zanetti in because I had no other centre back that wanted to play there. And then so again, stay back, normal interception, stay back, normal interception. So my three defence, like centre backs, are all quite similar in terms of what they produce. I would just say, if anybody's going to play this formation, if you have your central centre back as probably your best passer, I think that is important, just because one of the things I love to do is if I've got one of my wing back bombing forward, I like to get that lofted through ball over the top. I think that's probably one of the best passes you can have on this, most effective pass you can have, and especially in this formation because it creates a hell of a lot of space. And again, where Kleiber is, I know he's a right footer, but he's just such a strong player. I have him on join attack on this one, overlapping in runs again, just because it frees up that bit of space. Depending on how aggressive you want to play with this formation, I'd try and either stick to just having one of your full-backs as like an attacking presence going forward. If anything, again, if you're in that formation because you're holding on, you're defending, maybe change that and go stay back whilst attacking. But for me personally, in game, I like to have that join attack. I think it's quality for me in the way that I play, especially in a co-op team. So defence, that's you sorted there. Midfield, again, similar to the 4-2-3-1. Rooney, I have him on a bit more of a balanced approach. Don't really care for him staying back, wanting to have a bit more freedom to go forward and dot here, there and everywhere. So Rooney, balanced attack, support, balance, normal, balance. Everything's just standard on that player. Whereas SEM, what will be Trent Alexander-Arnold in game, he stay back whilst attacking and then cover wings, just default, because again, if I've got my wingers bombing forward, I want to have that coverage just in case, because I've already got that additional play with Rooney in the centre as well. So there's not often I'll find in game that through the middle I'm struggling to get hold of a player, because I've got those three centre backs anyway. So if anything, if there's ever any gaps that open up, it tends to be from them full-backs from where I've either done the 1-2 pass boom and he's bombed forward. If it gets intercepted, I need somebody to fill in that gap. So that's your two defensive midfielders as such, but as you can see, I only really play one defensive midfielder, with Rooney just being a bit more advanced. This is where Neymar comes in, again, because I've got so much power through the middle. I have Neymar on as a stay forward player. The rest of it's just standard. I think Neymar's movement, intelligence, the AI of the computer does the rest for you, gets you into fantastic positions. And he seems to be my main man in every formation I play. He just really is that good. And then Dybala and Eto'o, it's something where, again, personally, I like to have my main man being Eto'o stay forward, because he's my out-and-out striker. Defensive runs and support, things like that. I'm not bothered about defensive roles for Eto'o, but in terms of kind of like attacking runs, he has got that blistering pace to get in behind. It's massively important on this formation, that you're not all squeezed back and you've not got that penetrating run through their defence. So when you've got players like Eto'o, Neymar and Dybala, they'll all offer you something slightly different. And obviously everybody's formation team is slightly different that's watching these videos, but if you're there and you're able to support kind of like your other attackers, you're off to a winner straight away. Dybala, because he's a bit more of a creator, he can score goals for fun, but he's a bit more of a creator than Eto'o. I have again getting behind, but rather than, you know, the defensive spot, I just have it on balance. Sometimes I'll drop a little bit deeper, but if anything, that creates more space for Neymar to run in behind that as well. So it works extremely well. So that's basically the formation there. That's the tactics of how I go in game if I'm going for that 5-2-1-2. Something that I would say is very much an improved formation. I'm pretty sure there's a young lad that went into a weekend league or a FIFA competition and he used that tactic and he just blitzed it, absolutely smashed everybody. So a lot of the time in weekend league now, you have seen a lot of people revert to this formation, and if you've played against it, you'll know how difficult it is to actually break that line. So it's very much about getting down the wings, bringing it back, going down again, and then cutting back inside, and hopefully you've got somebody on the edge of the area like a Robin, Neymar, somebody like that. So again, just to give you a bit of an idea, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get you a bit of footage from just snippets of maybe where you can see how well that defensive line's working, and then other parts of the game where potentially you're seeing, even though you're in a 5-2-1-2, you have got a lot of players forward in that exact tactics. So I'm just gonna do that for you. Hopefully it's a bit more information and it gives you that idea of how it's gonna work. Just to give you a bit of an idea as well, on Thursday, on reward day, I'm pretty much sure I'll have the ultimate packs to open up. So 15,000, you know, so this is what I go for: 2 mega packs, 2 ultimate packs, and I'm sure I've got an ultimate pack in my stash already. At the moment, there's not much in packs to kind of get excited about, so I'm just holding on to them. So maybe Thursday night, maybe Friday, we'll do a big pack opening. And going forward, once the channel starts growing, if you want to get me to open your packs up, hopefully I can bring you a bit of luck. Not that I have any myself. Hopefully at that stage we can kind of move forward and progress the channel together, the journey, as I keep saying. But guys, what I'll do, I'll cut back off this, I'll introduce you again once I've got to the end of a game or something. I've kind of format something together in terms of the, like I was saying, the defensive shape and attacking shape going forward. Cool guys. So, not a bad team. Rooney, Neymar, Dalglish, what you expect. This is just a quick snip through of the game that I played. I usually in a match I'll change from different formations depending on how it's feeling, and I would advise that for a lot of you as well. As I mentioned earlier, the only reason that I usually stick to the 5-2-1-2 is when I'm in co-ops. I think it's a bit easier to kind of manage when there's 2 of you on the same team. But just for an example, I'm going to show you snippets of this match and how it went on, not just formations in defence, but also pushing forward. There's going to be bits in this here really where, as you all know, when you first start a game, if you have made subs and you're changing your formation, annoyingly, it takes until those subs have come on until that formation changes, and often I'll concede early on. But actually in this game, I did quite well. So really, to start with, until that first goal goes in, the formation isn't really necessary because it's the basic one of how I started. But I just wanted to show you kind of like almost a bit of a style of how I play. Shevchenko's not somebody that I usually have in my team, but as you can see, he does all right. He's the quick 10-minute player. So it comes into him, a nice little bump, right foot, finesse finish, scored a goal, walks off doing Alan Shearer celebration. And then it turns into JJ Kopcha. So this is a bit more what I wanted to show you in terms of formation, with loads of space out wide to whip that in, play it around centre backs and smash it out wide. This is more defensive. There's aggression in there. You can see sort of like nice little speed going forward. You can see Dybala, you can see Neymar, you can see Eto'o. There's a lot of people moving into right positions. How that didn't go in, aim for the guy's legs, I'm sure he did. But again, just controlling the match, sort of like this men on the edge of the area, good composure, not just rushing into it. And then what you'll find is, again, what a lot of people do, they'll kind of, if they win that ball in the dangerous areas, like often you do, brilliant. But what you find on this, I controlled it continuously, one attack, boom, goal, near post. It's fair enough, it's not a bad finish, it just annoys me. So it did annoy me. So I wanted to react to it and I went a bit crazy. So I got a nice little pass in here and there. But as I mentioned, in this formation, you've always got a lot of room out wide. If you can link your play up and passing, you're good to go. If you've got a bit of composure, a bit of a roll over like that, tapping, because often people will drag the keepers out. As soon as you do that, you've pretty much got a tap in or a nice little cheeky dink. So Eto'o, as I mentioned earlier, is set for that running behind, and he had that in his locker. Sometimes what you've got to say is, when you're playing against a team like this that's good at passing around, look at the formation, look at my three centre-backs that they're holding form. I've got people like Rooney, Trent in there. Rooney wins it back, just drills forward, and you can move forward from there. Right winger, boom again, he's bombing forward, and as he saw on the tactics, he's just on overlap. He's not on get forward, he's just on balance, I believe it was. You can see often there's loads of space that you can make from this. This doesn't result in a goal, but the idea is you can see how quickly you can transfer from you being in defence, boom, straight forward. This one's a lovely finish. Cheeky Dybala, boom, top corner. Again, you've got them players in your team, you'll get these kind of spaces in this formation, these tactics. I'm not one that's going to be keeping clean sheets left, right and centre, and you'll see in this game, it ain't one of them type of matches. 3-1, and then this, what I would say is, it's a class pass, brilliant pass, but what's my keeper doing? Keeper just dives on top of it, misses it, boom, tap in, scores another one. So you can sometimes do as much tricks and skills as you want, but if your keeper just decides that you don't want to play a ball, it's like Alisson in real life, just giving mistakes away, it's always going to result in that. So this is kind of like just again showing you this control out wide, bring it into the centre, win the ball, and then again you've got options where it just creates space. Having that width out wide, for me, it creates space in the middle, and then the idea really is from this, you get corners, you get ricochets, you get bounces. Often, like I was saying earlier, something will come from a corner, but not in this case, I don't believe. It's pretty much going on to half time, and I felt I controlled the vast majority of that game, other than a couple of cheeky chances that he had. Frustrating, but it happens. Again, you can see my defensive shape, it's there, it works, but again, it's just making sure that you've got that cover. It's difficult for what they need to do. This is me overplaying it. Rather than just getting rid of it, pass it to him pretty much in there, you know. And once you do that, if you've got somebody like Robin against you, you might as well just say, sorry, give up now. But again, it was just one of them games. I controlled it. The formation is brilliant for controlling a match. You've just got to be a bit more patient with how I'm playing here, passing out wide, getting it back into the middle. And what he was doing, he had a similar formation, so we're almost counteracting each other. And a lot of it, what you can see though, my defence always, if one misses it, there's another one. If another one misses it, there's another one. So you've got to break a lot of lines to get there. Nice pass through, another finish. As soon as it goes through to him, you know it's going to be a goal pretty much in that position there. Standard Neymar dancing, and again, just one big pass through, and then again, I can't defend that. He split my defence. I should be doing better myself, but it were a tight game. But this is what I mean. This is where you've got that runner going through. I keep Neymar stay forward. He broke the line, a nice pass through, and that's pretty much how it goes. You know, I ended up finishing that game winning. I deserved to win, but it just goes to show that you can have as much domination as you want in a game. They could have 2 or 3 shots, 4 or 5 shots, and all of a sudden it's a case of, right, we've kind of like conceded 5, conceded 4, whatever it might be. You can see he had 5 shots on target. He scored 4 of them. So pretty much that is it in a nutshell. I hope it's been a bit of like a good idea seeing it, being able to see what I'm on about, what I'm seeing. His rating weren't that great, but hopefully it does help you. And again, just as I mentioned earlier, absolute love and, you know, for the support I've had already. Hopefully these videos are alright and gives you a bit of ideas how formations work, as well as getting them tactics right. But yeah guys, it's a journey, see how it goes. On to tomorrow's video, I'll try and do something a little bit different as opposed to a formation video tomorrow. Again, comment below, see if there's anything in mind that you like. I'll try and get it done. But once again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like it. It means an absolute world to me, and it's just something that I'd like to say again. Massive thanks. See you all tomorrow, guys. Toodaloo.